Eagles Entertainment.
What up, Bird Gang? It's Javon Hargrave. I'm excited for the opportunity and can't wait to get the season started. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Welcome, Eagles everywhere, to the Eagles Insider Podcast, presented by Lincoln Financial Group. Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro with you on this Thursday again. Sending out best wishes to great health and just safety for everyone. We all do our part here, and let's get back to normal in this great world of ours. Today on the podcast, just jam-packed with information and with access for you. Now, the Eagles have made a big splash signing other players, agreeing to terms with players from other teams and bringing in players of the like of Darius Slay from a trade with the Detroit Lions. But they also took care of the roster, making sure to do that prior to the start of the official 2020 calendar year last week. With that in mind, we've got three players who were on the team last year who return in 2020. Quarterback Nate Sudfeld, safety Rodney McLeod, and cornerback Jalen Mills. We'll hear from all three of those players in just a bit here on the Eagles Insider Podcast. First, though, Eagles making another move on Wednesday. They are still active in free agency, and on Wednesday, the Eagles agreeing to terms on a one-year deal with former Los Angeles Ram Nickell Robey-Coleman, who, coincidentally enough, plays the nickel cornerback position. And he plays it very well. Last year, Pro Football Focus naming Robey-Coleman as the 19th best cornerback in the entire NFL. He is tenacious, he gets after the football, and he is fearless.
Brown, linebacker in coverage. Keenum,
got to throw it off to
time. Here comes Alexander, tosses it away, and it looks like Robey-Coleman has picked it off again, his second today, which seals the Buffalo Bills. And a win in Los Angeles. 2 interceptions by Nickell Robey-Coleman, a pick six, and that one right there on 4th and 18.
I had a chance on Wednesday to talk with Eagles general manager Howie Roseman at length about the state of the roster. And over the course of the next week, we'll roll out that interview in segments here. It's also available on the Eagles YouTube channel in its entirety. But at the time, Roseman, the first one to speak on Robey-Coleman and what he means to the Philadelphia Eagles, why the Eagles liked him so much.
Yeah, Nickell Robey-Coleman is a guy that we've had our eyes on for a long time. He's explosive. He's twitched up. He's got an incredible competitive atmosphere. Really, when he became a free agent from the Rams, the first time we were interested in signing him because he can really mirror receivers, and he's got this competitiveness, this toughness, this speed that we're looking for in a defensive backfield. He did play for Coach Schwartz in Buffalo. He was with our strength coach in LA, so we feel like we have some insight into what kind of an athlete and worker that he is. And, you know, we're just trying to add guys at a position that we think you can never have enough. We've seen it over the last couple of years, how many corners have gotten hurt. We still have Cravon, who's played inside as well, and he's got some versatility to play inside. He has some safety background. He's played outside corner for us, Cravon too. And again, just gives us flexibility. We just thought it was a good signing for our football team to increase depth, to increase the competitive level at the corner position.
Okay, now let's get to the players who were here last year, who are here this year. Rodney McLeod signed with the Eagles as an unrestricted free agent in 2016. He's been a mainstay in the defensive secondary, and he's been a partner to Malcolm Jenkins. Jenkins, of course, moving on in free agency, signing with the New Orleans Saints, and so that leaves McLeod, and that leaves a void in leadership in the locker room, and that leaves McLeod with an opportunity to step up. That is one of the many topics we talked with one-on-one with safety Rodney McLeod. What's it been like for you, Rodney?
Man, it's just been in the house. But we've been keeping ourselves pretty busy. We have a lot to kind of do over here anyway. We're moving in a couple months. So it's kind of like it's, I guess, good and bad timing. But it allows us to do a lot in the house cleaning up, packing. And then, we've been trying to just figure out ways to not be consumed by, everything that's on TV. So keeping ourselves distracted by watching shows or other day we had like this big Zoom party with a bunch of our friends on video chat. So just things like that to try to bring some normality, I guess, to the situation and keep yourself entertained. And, we're just doing a lot of stuff in the house together. So we're getting by, working out, of course, too.
How do you work out? Do you have a gym where you are? How does that work?
Pretty much it's just, the space that you're provided in your home and in the garage. We have a, parking lot in the back, but, the weather was pretty good last week. So that helped. And then today it's back to freezing cold again. So waiting for the weather to get better again to work out outdoors.
Rodney, before we get into the football, I know fans are looking for the same thing. Everybody's looking to kind of stay occupied. What do you recommend as far as what is good on television? What are the McLeods watching? What's your must-watch list?
Must-watch list. So we started this show called The 20s on BET. That's interesting. It's 4 episodes. Then we started, I think, Madam C.J. Walker last night. It's a series on Netflix. I forgot what it's actually called, but that's a very good show. What else? I started Black Lightning. I think it's a DC character. That's on Netflix. All American is back on Netflix as well, so that's a good show we recommend. Trying to think what else. There's plenty of shows. I did watch Outbreak. I don't know if people really want to watch that right now, but it's an actual movie about a virus that occurred in some form of Africa through a few animals. And, so it's kind of similar to what's going on now, but I don't know if it's good timing. It's kind of, I guess, might scare off a lot of people. Create more
are you a watcher of comedy or anything like that?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So there's plenty on Netflix. There's always something to watch. We watched Love is Blind too. I forgot. We finished that show. That's been pretty popular. So, for all the couples out there, that's a show to watch that I think would be good.
In general, Rodney, are you a sports watcher, or would you normally be watching sports?
Yeah, basketball for sure during this time. Especially down the stretch is getting close to the playoffs. So the level of intensity picks up a lot more. So I'm definitely missing the hoops that's on TV. And then, of course, March Madness. How can you forget about that? So, yeah.
Amid all of that, the NFL business cycle continues. Free agency starts, and you come back to the Philadelphia Eagles. Could you talk about the decision and how you feel about it?
Yeah, I feel great. Philly is I've made a name for myself here, and Philly is very dear to my heart. My wife as well. It's adopted, I feel like my family, and we love it, man. So having the opportunity to come back to Philly made sense for us. It's where we wanted to be. I'm hoping to be able to finish my career off here. And it was important. I'm a guy, that's very loyal, man. So I know I wanted to, stay somewhere where I'm appreciated, I'm valued, and that I can continue to build a legacy for myself. And I think I could do that here in Philadelphia.
So great to hear. It's interesting, back in a few years ago, 2016, you entered free agency and you came to Philadelphia. And I wonder, what was that experience like for you? How difficult or not difficult was it to leave a place where you started your career and go somewhere else? What went into the decision, and how much of a mind game, how difficult is it for you to pick up and start anew?
Yeah, it is. It was challenging for me when I decided to leave St. Louis Rams and come over to Philadelphia. It was very tough decision to make and to really grasp and swallow, I guess, because I formed a relationship with a lot of my brothers there that I'm still friends with to this day. Played a lot of ball together. And, like I said, I'm a loyal guy, man, and I always wanted to be one of those players that, I can make my mark on a team in a city for a long period of time. And I felt like in that 4 years, I did that, but I felt like I had so much more to, give and wanted to give. And, because of the business side and everything else, I had to make the move over to Philadelphia, which worked in my favor. I trusted my heart and trusted God. And 2 years later, we holding the Lombardi Trophy. And that's the reason why we played this game, one of the reasons. And so, man, I mean, I never would have had that opportunity if I didn't come to Philly and make that decision. So even though it was a hard one, it was a smart one and it was the right one. And I feel the same about the decision I made to come back to Philly, man. I know something special is going to happen. And that's just how things go. You got to trust your heart. And like I said, man, God, always orders my steps. So I'm trusting in him and I'm hoping for the best over these next couple of seasons.
Rodney, with that, there's always change in the NFL, and Darius Slay in at cornerback.
Yeah.
Javon Hargrave in at defensive tackle. They're talking about potentially moving around Jalen a little bit. Your thoughts on what's happened here for the Eagles defense, including the loss of Malcolm and Camus and so forth in this free agency period?
Yeah, it's always tough when you lose guys like Malcolm, like Camus, like a Jason Peters on the offensive side thus far. And, Malcolm and Jason are faces that have been around this organization for a long time before I even got here and made a name for themselves, countless times, and are true leaders, man, not only in the locker room but in these communities as well. And so, their legacies will live on forever, of course. And, it's sad, but it's part of the business. And now you have, a locker room and defense full of fresh faces that, the city of Philadelphia will quickly embrace, I feel like, because of the type of players that they are. Darius Slay, a guy who chooses to, follow the best player, man, and get up and challenge guys, competes at a high level, and his resume speaks for itself. And the D tackle, don't know too much about, but from what I've read and seen, seems like another guy that fits right into, our scheme, and the type of guys that we bring in to this locker room, guys that are willing to work, blue collar guys. And so that's what I'm most excited about, is the new faces and them making a name for themselves here in this city, and on this defense.
What do you feel about, how do you feel about Jalen potentially? I mean, we don't know for sure, but potentially taking some of Malcolm's responsibilities, doing some versatile things in addition to playing cornerback or whatever role they might have. How cross-trained are you guys?
Yeah, I think Mills is a guy that can quickly step in, man, into this safety position and take over. I think he has the physicality. He has the confidence. He has the, football IQ to get it done. He has some experience playing safety from college. But, I think he'll be a quick learner. He's a guy that studies a lot, that wants the best, and demands the most out of himself. So I know he'll be up for the challenge, and stepping in, man, and taking over this new position and new role for himself and for this team. And so I'm excited to just line up next to him. I know it's going to be fun. Had a lot of moments and memories with my guy 2-7, Malcolm, but looking forward to over these next couple of seasons making some new memories and being able to put our mark, me and Jalen on this Eagles defense.
Rodney, do you have I know nobody's on the field. Look, no, we're so far. Who knows when we're going to get back to NovaCare? Do you think about what this defense could be with the new guys, with Will Parks? I don't know if you know him, or Davis Brown also. I mean, do you think about how new guys are going to fit in, and some of the guys coming back are going to fit in, and where this what next level this defense can go to?
Yeah, man. I'm honestly excited about the secondary, the pieces that we added. We touched on Darius Slay, Mills, of course, changing positions or, doing both for us. And then, of course, you just mentioned Will Parks. I actually know Will from my time here in Philadelphia and training with a common trainer that we have. So he's another guy that is a high energy guy. Very passionate, loves the game, and then you could just see the physicality that he plays with. And so I love his game as well. I've reached out to him. He's ready. He has the right mindset, man. And I think, what this defense can do, man, can be very special with the new pieces we added and the guys we already have coming back. Let's not forget about those guys. And so I'm just excited to get out there and lead, this group of men. And, we'll see whenever we get back out in that field, man, it's going to be very competitive. I know guys are going to be itching to get back to it. And then I know I can't wait for that day to come.
Rodney, do you think your role changes in the locker room as a leader, as somebody to kind of bring along these players new to Philadelphia?
I think a little bit, but at the same time, I feel like I've always looked at myself as a leader, and I've always gained the respect of guys in the locker room, which is what you want and what kind of makes someone a leader. So I don't think too much will change. And in hindsight, I think for me, it's just continue to do what I've done, which is lead by example. I think that's the best way to lead at times. Of course, I think times are going to be asked for me to be a lot more vocal than what I've been, because I feel like my counterpart Malcolm handled that role. But I'll do what's needed at the end of the day to make sure that guys are headed in the right direction and that we're on pace to win games and compete at a high level.
Rodney, the draft comes up here in a month or so. You were not drafted. How do you remember 2012? Do you remember it fondly around draft time? Do you remember it bitterly? Like, how do you kind of process that?
Yeah, it's always a time of the year. I mean, I never forget because my name was never called, and I think that's something that's got me to play 9 years in this league, is constantly just having that chip on my shoulder and always a reminder each year when it comes around. But, like I tell guys, because I love the stories of undrafted guys that come in and make a name for themselves, guys like Greg Ward, don't let those times, discourage you. Use it as motivation and channel it and use it as fuel, really. But, I root for every guy in the draft, man, because it's so hard. And, a lot of these young men work, countless hours just to hear their names called and to fulfill their dreams. And so for me, I root for every guy that's coming out, and that's a part of the draft. But, it's only 7 rounds and, hoping that you're just one of those picks. But if you're not, your dreams, they don't end. As long as you have an opportunity, you have a chance. Yeah.
Rodney, any advice to Eagles fans out there who are going through these tough times?
I would say just continue to pray. Honestly, prayer works. God listens. And, during this time, man, just try to find some positive and shed some light into a dark time, and I feel like, we now have, this time that we necessarily didn't have before. The time where we used to ask for more time and more opportunities to be at home with our families or with our significant other, and now you have that opportunity. So just make the most of it. Do something constructive with your time. Things that you never thought you would be able to devote the time to, like creating a business or developing a skill trait, whatever it might be, man. Just, take advantage of the time. Keep yourself busy, keep yourself occupied, and, that's pretty much it.
Keep yourself safe. That's the most important thing, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy times. Hey, Rodney, thank you so much, and congratulations. Can't wait to see you back at NovaCare whenever that might be.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it, Dave.
Take care. Take care, man. Staying in the defensive secondary, Jalen Mills, now listed as a defensive back. So what does that mean? Here we are, one-on-one with Jalen Mills. Let's begin, Jalen. Where are you right now? Are you out in Texas?
Yeah, I'm in Dallas.
Okay. How's your off season been?
It's been great, man. I'm working out every day, get to enjoy my family, so it's great.
Good. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the experience that you've had here. What has free agency been like for you? What were the I guess really from the time you packed up the locker to now, what kind of emotions have you experienced?
A couple. You have a little bit of anxiousness, a little bit of and a little anxiety because you really don't know who's looking at you or where you might end up. Kind of have an idea where you want to go, but you just have to. It's really a waiting game. You have to just let it play out.
Did you, when you packed up your locker, did you feel kind of like, hey man, I'm walking out of the NovaCare complex. I don't know if I'm ever going to come back here as a Philadelphia Eagle. Did those kind of emotions go through your mind?
Yeah, sure, of course. I'll be lying to tell you I didn't. Just because, like I said, you don't. This NFL game, it's a revolving door. You got guys coming in each and every year. Other free agent guys that teams may be linked to or want. So for sure, it was definitely a thought that was in my mind.
At the end of the day, though, you're back with the Eagles, Jalen. Why did you make the decision to come back to Philly?
There's something special here. It's definitely. I've had history there, of course, being there for the 4 years that I did, and it's unfinished business.
Did you think long and hard about leaving? Did you kind of get to that point where you were, close to maybe going somewhere else? No,
not at all. Not at all.
Jalen, let's talk about your time as an Eagle. Where do you think you've grown the most as a man and as a football player?
I think honestly, I've grown in both places tremendously just because of the team chemistry. That commodity and the guys there in that locker room and the coaches. It's great energy every day when you walk in the building, from breakfast time to throughout the day, practice all the way to dinner, when it's time to go home. Then as a player, just understanding how to be a true pro, whether that's practicing the right way, recovering my body the right way, or even on Sundays playing the game the right way, the way that Philadelphia fans want to see the game played.
I got to ask you this because, I love the green hair. The hair stayed green throughout these months since the season ended?
Yes, the hair is definitely still green, and it's going to stay green.
There's conversation out there, nothing from the Eagles, of course, but that you could be versatile in the secondary and maybe kind of fill the role that Malcolm filled. Do you know anything about that? And how do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's definitely something that we've been in talks with, and I mean my whole demeanor and my whole attitude and the way that I play is, I'm a defensive back, and by me telling you that, I feel like I can play corner, I can play nickel, I can play dime, I can play free safety, I can play strong safety. I'm just a guy who I feel I'm versatile enough to, you can put me anywhere in the secondary and I can go out and make plays for the team and the defense that I feel like could be game changing.
Can you explain, just for people who might not quite understand, if you played that role, which is kind of like a quasi linebacker or really just kind of a linebacker, what challenge will that be for you from an on the field standpoint, from a preparation standpoint, and then just from what your eyes are seeing from the time the ball is snapped?
Yeah, I mean, it's from coming in to playing on a slot receiver on third down to now we're on first down to maybe lining up against a tight end or on a run play having to feel, the C, B, or A gap, which is between the tight ends and the tackle, or the tackle and the guard, or the guard in the center, and making a play in the backfield. Just those different type of things.
What requires, does it change the way you have to prepare your body or anything like that?
100%. I think as far as that goes, the recovery standpoint after each and every game is going to be big, because my role is definitely going to be a lot bigger, and I'm going to be doing a lot more things on their defense just instead of just sitting outside like I was at corner the past 4 years.
That's quite a compliment. Then they're going to potentially ask you to do more, to be more involved. So, I mean, is that how you feel about it, that you potentially have kind of a bigger role in the defense?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's definitely gonna give me a lot more chance to make a lot more plays for his defense and his team.
Jalen, it's also a compliment to your ability to be physical and to be a tackler. And I know that you've always taken a lot of pride in that, haven't you?
Yes, of course, you know that.
Well, it's a lot of cornerbacks don't kind of want to get mixed up in that stuff. Why has it always been something that you enjoy?
We've always told our coaches there, and they can attest for this, that tackling there is a certain type of way of technique that, to make sure you don't have neck and head and shoulder injuries, that you can get taught and certain form tackling. But tackling is an attitude. It's the technique just comes with practice and preparation, but tackling is an attitude.
Okay. Well, listen, man, congratulations. I guess I don't know when I'm going to see you again. You're still able to train with everything that's going on?
Well, no gyms right now. I've just been doing a lot more cardio since the gyms are closed right now. So
yeah, very challenging times.
Yep.
Hey, man, Jalen, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations. Can't wait to see you in 2020.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Take care.
And on the offensive side of the ball, Nate Sudfeld last year looked like he was all ready to go as the number 2 behind Carson Wentz. And then came the preseason and injured in the preseason opener.
Yeah, so Nate had x-rays at halftime, and we found out that there is a break in his left wrist, which is his non-throwing wrist. He'll have surgery in the morning to repair. It's not season-ending, so we're excited about that. And after surgery, we'll have more update for you probably Saturday when we get back together.
Sudfeld says he has, quote, unfinished business, end quote, in Philadelphia, and that's why he's back on a 1-year deal.
How do you feel about coming back? I mean, you know the system, you know the locker room, you know the coaching staff. A new year, a new Nate.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I'm very excited to come back. I feel like I have unfinished business in Philadelphia. I feel wanted. I feel like I've got things I still really want to accomplish, and I'm really excited about the new coaching dynamics and talking to Doug and Press, and got to talk to Rich, and just in talking to everyone in Philly. I'm just excited, man. I think I'm trying to have a refreshed outlook. Just want to, I'm really looking forward just to add another year, but making it a new, different year, and connecting further with teammates and contributing as best as I can.
Nate, how was last year for you? How would you put?
Yeah, last year was definitely challenging. A lot of it I felt like was just kind of bad luck. Felt like things were going well, broke my wrist, and then obviously Josh is a great player and did really well in the preseason, and then did well when called upon against Atlanta, and then kind of just held on to the spot. But I never felt like the coaching staff of the Eagles disliked me as much as I felt like they thought it was maybe challenging to go 8-10 weeks without practice and then be able to step right in 10 weeks later to play when Josh had gotten all those reps. So, it was definitely challenging, but I just tried to make the most of it. And every day I just had to wake up and say, okay, it's not about me. How can I help this team? How can I improve myself as a player? So it was one of the more challenging things I've had to do in my career, but felt like I still got a lot better throughout the year. And, yeah, man, just looking forward to another opportunity at it.
What did you learn about yourself going through that? I mean, it must have required a great deal of patience and, just, try to ward off that disappointment.
Yeah, definitely a lot of patience. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I learned that, just how badly I want to play, how much I feel like I know how well I can play. I have so much confidence in myself. And I know just all it's going to take for me is just getting, hopefully Carson obviously stays healthy and all goes great. But if called upon, hopefully I can get an opportunity and go in and show what I can do. I know I can go in and help this team win games and help us not miss a beat.
Nate, when you got hurt in the preseason, did you have a sense at all at the time how long that was going to take, A, to come back, and then B, the long-term ramifications of it?
Immediately when I broke it, I remember I popped from the ground, and as I was walking to the sideline, I was just thinking, like, dang it, no, this isn't good. Like, I got to be ready to play next week. We're practicing against the Ravens. Like, I need to do that. Like, I was just thinking, like, so micro, so day by day. But then the next morning when I got out of surgery, I was just trying to, like, it was hard to process because, you're just so into camp, you're in your routine, you're, doing well, playing games, and then they say you can't sweat for 2 weeks because you can't infect the injury. So then you get a little stir crazy, and then you're not able to be in some of the meetings. Obviously, a meeting immediately after the surgery and stuff, and it's definitely tough on a lot of levels because then you feel a little disconnected from your guys, from the team, and but it's just everybody who gets injured kind of understands what it's like, and it's not a fun thing, but it can make or break guys for sure. I feel like a lot of guys, it can really hurt the confidence, or it can affect their just their outlook. But I was determined not to let that be the case for me, and I just wanted to make sure I was improving myself and being ready if ever called upon last year, and then looking forward to, deciding what the best opportunity was going into this year. And, yeah, man, just looking forward to a fresh outlook and going in and doing my thing.
Nate, you played so little in the regular season. So for fans who kind of go, wow, we really don't know Nate Sudfeld and we don't know what he can do for this offense, how have you gotten better as a quarterback through the years?
Yeah, man, definitely caught up with my body more. I was more of a late bloomer in terms of just, being faster, or like just quickness of my feet, and just weight room strength and all this stuff. So definitely got a lot stronger there. And then I've just learned under so many great coaches and quarterbacks, all the situational awareness, just how to apply that. And I don't know, man, what's frustrating is, what's always been frustrating is, and I get it in the NFL, you kind of need to prove it in order to, get a bunch of opportunities, in a regular season game. And I haven't had a ton of those options. But, even like in college, there'd be days I'd be like, man, I'm not practicing that well, but I'd go in the game and I'd ball out. And I'd be like, well, and then coaches would be like, all right, Nate's just a gamer. Maybe we need to get him better in practice, but in games he's going to show up. So I feel like the script has been flipped almost, which is frustrating just because I haven't had a chance to play in games, but it's all good, man. In due time, I'm still a young player, 26. So I really am hoping to see my career, hopefully a lot longer. And I felt like this was the best decision for me to, add a year of developing and keep getting better and improving, because really that's the goal. And yeah, again, I just have so much confidence. I feel like my physical and mental traits are together. And I'm just ready, kind of foaming at the mouth, ready to get into a game and play.
Nate, so you're 26. So by my calculations, and I'm not very good at math, you probably have, about 17 more years left? I'm going by Tom Brady and Phillip Rivers standards. About 17 more years left in your career. Your perspective, I wonder, as a young quarterback, seeing these older quarterbacks still doing it and playing at such a high level, into their 40s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's. I mean, it definitely plays a role because in talking to guys and just watching a lot of quarterbacks. I mean, Carson's obviously unbelievable at 27 right now, a little older than me, but and he's an outlier. There aren't many guys who play super well in their mid 20s. But I feel like if you look around, most quarterbacks kind of hit their peak at about 30, 31 to 35. It seems to me, at least. So again, I'm just trying to be patient, but it's also a way to help me cope because I'm driving myself crazy not playing yet. So I'm just trying to talk myself into, it's okay. You'll still get an opportunity on the road. You just got to just keep working, keep being prepared. But everyone's journey is different, but I'm just, ready to go when my time comes.
Nate, do you have any sense at all with adding Rich and adding Marty and the changing dynamics in the coaching staff? Do you have any sense of what that's going to mean for the offense?
Yeah. So in talking to Rich and talking to Doug, I feel like there's just going to be a breath of fresh air into the offense with some nice new perspectives. Obviously, Rich has some great history under some great coaches like the Kyle Shanahan tree and understands that, how to marry up the run game, the pass game. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I think it'll really fit my skill set well. Again, just looking forward to getting onto the cut-ups and watching them, but couldn't be more excited about the coaching dynamic, and I'm excited to have Press back, have a great relationship with him and believe in him a lot as a coach. And so there will be a lot of familiarity, but I think there will be a lot of good newness and freshness to the offense that I'm looking forward to.
Nate, given the uncertainty of what's happening in this country, around the world, and certainly with the league, what do you do? What do you anticipate doing here with your off season? How do you treat that?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's kind of just day by day right now. Obviously, waiting to see if and when. Hopefully, OTAs aren't canceled or postponed too much. But yeah, I'm just out in Oregon right now training. I have a small group and kind of like a private gym that I'm able to work with a couple days a week, even though it's kind of cracking down more. But then just kind of going a little stir crazy at the house. Got some family here. So, but it's all good, man. Just trying to take it a day at a time and trying to embrace, some positives out of this. Hopefully, some people in this country and in the world really, and even in my family, I think hopefully we can, work on things and get closer together and things like that. So I think there are some good opportunities in these crazy times.
Nate, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations. And hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Dave.
That will do it for this Eagles Insider Podcast presented by Lincoln Financial Group. Tomorrow, on Friday, we will start with the exclusive one-on-one with Eagles General Manager Howie Roseman. You do not want to miss it. Thanks to Peter Kelly and Ray Doyle for putting this all together and promoting the podcast. And we thank you for joining us here on the Eagles Insider Podcast. Make sure you drop us a 5-star rating. Make sure you subscribe. And if you don't, please pass the word. We love to reach our Eagles audience. And we thank you so much for your involvement in the show. Everyone, thanks for joining me. I'm Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro saying, have yourselves a great Eagles day. Fly, Eagles, fly. And everyone, continue to practice social distancing. Make good decisions. Be smart. And we can all enjoy this 2020 Eagles season together. Have a good day, everybody.